Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you the final full day of spoilers roundup. We've done the first 2 days, trying to give you a one-stop shop for all the cards that were spoiled during the day on both Friday and Saturday. And now I'm going to go over Sunday's cards just to kind of, again, give you a video where you can get it all summarized in one spot so you don't have to go searching yourself. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Feel free to check out my other videos. I do a lot of Flesh and Blood content as well as Alpha Clash content. Doing a ton of Flesh and Blood content right now at the release, so definitely go check out the other videos. Trying to do 2 videos a day up until the release if I can. If you're long-standing supporter of the channel, thank you so much as always. Let me know what else I can bring you all to give you joy in your content life within Flesh and Blood. And yeah, we'll get right into it. So we're going to start with the Evo kits. There were 4 Evo kits released. 4 Evo kits released on Sunday that I gathered. And if I missed a card, definitely let me know in the comments below. I try to basically take all of the cards in like actual order for the most part from the Discord when they were spoiled. So if I missed one, let me know. But this is the first Evo kit. It's basically it's a common level equipment that centers around like doing, so it's not an instant speed. There are instant speed equipment, but this is like a really low cost action based equipment that allows you to have a little bit more block value and maybe like a one-time use. So if you have the base head equipped, base chest, base arms, whatever you're transforming, you can transform it into this. The head says once per turn instant, destroy a card under this, draw a card, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck, so it allows you to cycle. All of these have Blade Break 2. The chest allows you to destroy a card under it and put a steam counter on an item you control with Crank, which is pretty good. The arms allow you to put an item with 0 or 1 from your hand into the arena, and the legs allow you to create a Quicken token. I think these are more limited environment. It's not that these are bad. These are pretty good budget options. The thing is, a lot of these have better replacement, right? So for like the headpiece actually isn't too bad in a dash but the thing is like, or any of the mechanologists, but the thing is like some of their other headpieces are just better, right? Dash can run stuff like Crown of Providence, which is super impactful. Being able to cycle a card is not as important, right? Max can run Hyper X3, right? Or something of that nature, even Crown of Providence as well. And Evos will obviously could use this maybe a little bit better. But overall, all these have decent abilities. The best ability, honestly, in my opinion, is probably the Evo battery pack, the chest piece. It allows you to put a steam counter on an item you control with Crank, which again, you could use this in like a Dash IO list to be able to give that. But the thing is that better than Tekla Foundry Heart, right? Any chest piece in these Evos is going to be competing with Tekla Foundry Heart, which is what makes it hard. But it's a Blade Break 2. It's a good budget option. These will be fantastic and limited to have. So overall, not too bad. Then our second Evo kit release, this is the Century base set. So all of these have Battle Worn 2 on them, so they'll all block 3 total over the lifespan. You can also block with these from hand, from my understanding, and then go get them later through cards like Scrap and Tekla Voston's ability as well. But they all just say they all just transform from base level equipment, and they all block for 3. That's the purpose of these. They're tank armor sets, right? To be able to maybe use like the Cogworks based abilities and then transforming these in the mid game to gain a little bit more block value. The good thing about these is if you notice in the card type text, it says Mechanologist Action Equipment, Evo based whatever, Evo based chest, Evo based head, Evo based arms. So you basically can transform into the base set of equipment into these and then transform again with another equipment that says if you have base equipment equipped. So, for example, you normally wouldn't do this, but if you start with Cogworks and then you transformed into all the Centuries, you then could also transform into all of the data mines or all the battery packs, right? So, because it's considered a base level equipment, right? So that's the good thing about these. These are a little bit more diversified. I think these are going to be very good in Tekla Voston to be able to have mid-game block value before you go into your big blue boys, but we'll have to see. Overall, I think these are fantastic. And in a limited environment, these are also really, really good. Next one is the Evo Kit 3. These are the Buzz. I call them the Buzz Kit. These are all about speed, all about doing things fast, right? So these are instant equipment. The next 2 Evo sets, this one and the one I'm about to show you, you could all play at instant speed. So the first one says if you have the base head equipped, transform it into this, then equip these. When this is equipped, you may banish a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. So this, you could use this in Teklavos in an instant speed, like a more aggro-based build, to basically be able to banish one of your big Evos, since you can play from your banish zone, and then be able to draw a card. So it's a cycle, and you can play it at instant speed, so it won't take up your action point. And then the chest allows you to gain a resource. The arms allow you to target attack gets +1. Again, you can do this at instant speed if you have to get a really good on hit. And then the legs say when this is equipped, target 1 attack gets go again. The zipline and the bang are really interesting because if you're in Teklavos and you're running things like Command and Conquer, it says when this is equipped, up to 1 target attack gets +1. You could buff your Command and Conquer to 7 to make sure you kill their arsenal. Or you could give your Command and Conquer go again. It just says up to 1 target attack gets go again, right? So if you play Command and Conquer, then you play this at instant speed, you can give it go again, right? So there's some really cool things you could do with this. The headpiece is also really good. I think there's an aggro-based Teklavos build that allows you to use this kit, and I'm super excited to try to figure it out. Your fourth kit, I know this is the max kit, right? All these revolve around hyperdrivers. So if you have the base equipment already there for whatever respective slot, you transform it into this, and up to X hyperdrivers you control. Then you equip this piece. If you do, the next time you would be dealt damage this turn, you prevent X that damage. So for the headpiece or any piece, let's say you transform this piece with 2 hyperdrivers from the base piece, you'll basically prevent 2, and then you double it. So you prevent 4. So if you take 2 hyperdrivers with you underneath this piece, you'll prevent 4 damage. If you take 3 hyperdrivers, you'll prevent 6 damage, so on and so forth. All these equipments are amazing. The best one for max is definitely the arm piece. Being able to, let's say you have 2 hyperdrivers on the field, since these are instants, you can arsenal them and play them on your opponent's turn. If your opponent comes in for a 4-power attack, you play this from arsenal at instant speed. You transform your arms and your 2 hyperdrivers over top of your base equipment arm slot, and then you prevent 4 damage, and then you're able to do +2 to whenever you boost an attack action card the next turn, because it says whenever you boost an attack action card, you may destroy a card under this. If you do, the attack gets +2. And it's not like Techo Pounder where it's once per turn. You could do this multiple times in a turn. So on a big swing turn, you could basically have a 0-cost Oasis, right? Be able to prevent 4 damage, and then come back at your opponent for +6 damage on your turn, because you're going to have the 2 hyperdrivers underneath this, as well as the base level equipment, so you're able to destroy something 3 times, right? So all of these will essentially, if you have 2 drivers on the field, will have 3 charges of whatever their ability is for you to use, as well as prevent 4 damage. So really powerful cards. There's an argument to even be able to use some other ones as well, just to get that prevention and constant value from the hyperdrivers. But we'll have to see how it goes. Definitely the arms, I think, are an automatic slot in a max, but I think all of these could see play in different ways. It's going to be really interesting to see what people do with them. Next one we have are the commons. So now we have a lot of these. So we have a lot of the script cards. So we have autosave script. It's a mechanologist item that has crank. This enters the arena with a steam counter, as is most of the items that you'll see in this set. Your mechanologist attack action cards get, when it hits, put it at the bottom of its owner's deck. So it allows you to have a little bit of recursion. This can be really good into Dromai or into someone that can't maybe prevent the attack you're trying to do, or it's just a way to help combat fatigue. It's a blue, it can pitch, and it costs nothing to play. And off of Dash IO's ability, if you play this from the top of your deck, it's only going to cost 1 to play. So really, really good. All the 0-cost items are going to be really useful in Dash IO's kit. Next one is Backup Protocol Blue. So they have these in blue, yellow, and red. They all have crank, and they all enter with a 1 steam counter, and it says instant, pay 2 resources, destroy this, return a blue mechanologist attack action card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's again a recursion technique. They have these in red, so you can return a red attack action card, and then they have them in yellow where you can turn a yellow attack action card. I don't know how much play these we'll see. You're basically able to, it's at instant speed, so as long as you have the resources to pay, you could keep activating this. So if you have 3 blues in your hand, Merry Christmas Land, you have 3 blues in your hand, you play this off the top of your deck for 1 resource, go down to 5, then you're able to, you had 9 resources, so you just use one that's 8, so you're able to activate this 4 times, put 4 attacks back in your deck, because you don't take off a steam counter, you just play this until you can use this until it dies from not having a counter anymore. So you could use this as a way to cycle things back in if fatigue ever got really, really good, but we'll have to see how that goes. Next one is Boom Grenade. This is an all-star item. Has Crank. This enters the arena with a steam counter at the start of your turn. Destroy it unless you remove a steam counter from it. When a Mechanologist attack action card you control hits a hero, destroy this and deal 4 damage to them. So this becomes in red, yellow, and blue. The red will deal 4 damage, the yellow will deal 3, and the blue will deal 2. You can play this at instant speed in the reaction step with Dash IO. This is going to allow Dash IO to, let's say she attacks with a 0 to 60 for 4 red, and you declare no blocks. She then can instant speed this off the top of her deck in the reaction step, and if you don't have a reaction, then that 0 to 60 now is going to technically deal 8 damage to you, right? So really, really powerful card. It's going to be really good for like an aggro Dash IO or a combo Dash IO to really make the opponent think about what they're doing. It's one of the better items that's been shown in the set. Then we have Data Link. This is a 0 for 3 boost card that says when it hits opt 1, this will be really, really good in Dash IO, but it'll be really good just in general. It's a 0 for 3 that allows you to cycle to a more important card if you need to. So I think this is a really, really staple 0 for 3 in most decks. Next one is Dissolving Shield. It's a 0 cost item that says remove a steam counter from this at instant speed, prevent the next 1 damage that we've been dealt to you this turn. If this has no steam counters on it, destroy it. So this is a really interesting card. It allows you to prevent breakpoint attacks, right? So if someone's attacking for 4, you can block 3 and then instant speed take a counter off of this and it fully blocks it. This also could work against Rune Chants, right? This is basically like a blue. The axis is a blue against Rune Chants, right? This is on the field and someone attacks you with 3 Rune Chants. You prevent, since they're all their own instance of damage, you would prevent each instance 1 time. You just keep instant speeding on top of the stack and prevent the Rune Chant from hitting you. That's a really cool idea. I think this is cool in like a slower Dash IO build. I don't know how this works into the other heroes, but Dash IO I think can use this really, really effectively. Next one is Dive Through Data. A lot of these are Dash IO cards that came out today or Sunday at the time. It's a 1 for 4 boost when it hits opt 1, so it's just like the 0 for 3, except it's a 1 for 4, like Zipper hit to 0 to 60, right? Really, really good card. Really solid. Allows you to cycle to more of your powerful effects if it hits. And it's just a good 1 for 4 boost. Then we have Expedite. This is good in a lot of different decks for this set. So I think this is like the most stable 0 for 3. It says when this hits, you may put an item with cost 0 or 1 from your hand into the arena. So this is good in Max because if you have a Hyperdriver in your hand, this can put that Hyperdriver into the arena without costing your action point. With Dash IO, this allows you to take items that got stuck in your hand and you didn't see on top of your deck and put them into the arena. And even with Tech Levostin, if he's running some low-cost items to help service his game plan, this can work for that. So it's really good. I think it's one of the most stable 0 for 3s in the set, and it's one of the all-stars at common. It comes in red, yellow, and blue as well. Then we have Infuse Alloy. So we have a lot of Brothers in Arms-like effects in this set. So there's a new keyword called Galvanize, which says, when this defends, you may destroy an item you control. If you do, it gets +2 block. So this normally is a 2 block for 4 with no go again, but it can be a 4 power for 4 block if you destroy an item. This is really good if you have a lot of throwaway items that are about to pop anyway and you're not going to get use from them. You can at least have the 4 block, but if you don't have an item on the field, this could be a 2 block. I don't know how these work yet. I know somebody way better player than me is going to make these work, and it's going to be really interesting to see, but overall, it's a really cool effect nonetheless. Same thing with Infused Titanium. This is basically at its best. This is a Wounded Bull and a Brothers in Arms combined. It's a 3 for 7 that if you destroy an item, you can pop Galvanize and make it block for 4. So really, really cool thing. It also comes in the full cycle of colors. Then we have Med-X. It's a 1 for 4 boost. When it hits, you may put an item with 0 or 1 from your hand into the arena. Just like Expedite, this is going to be a staple in most of the Mechanologist builds. All of them care about items to a certain extent in some way, especially Max and Dash IO. This will also be really good in normal Dash. Being able to put like a Tekla core down for free. Super, super nice, right? So I'm really excited to see this card played in a lot of different decks. Then we have M8Z Script, which has Crank, enters with a steam counter, and says your Mechanologist attack action cards get go again. That's for the whole turn, so you don't have to boost. Also, if you have non-boost cards, right, and you play this, this will allow you to chain together maybe multiple Crank attacks, right? you could be able to play out multiple infused titaniums as long as you have the resources to pay for it, right? I mean, imagine a 4-card 14, right? Could be really cool. Or you're just able to give attacks go again without boosting away cards and being more prone to fatigue. Really interesting card at yellow. It's a 0 cost, so with Dash IO, it's only going to cost 1 to play it off the top of the deck, which is really good. So we'll have to see how this is used in more of an aggro game plan. Then we have Mini Force Field, which enters the arena with 4 steam counters on it. At the start of your turn, destroy this. Unless you remove a steam counter from it. Ward X, where X is the number of steam counters on this. So this basically is like an Oasis Respite. If you play this off top of your deck with Dash IO, it comes in with 4 steam counters and prevents 4 damage. If you couple this with a card like Plasma Mainline, which would give it a steam counter when it comes in, then it would prevent 5 damage. So it can be really, really useful. Super excited to see how this card plays in Dash IO. I think it's a really good defensive piece. And I think when she wants to turtle up a little bit more, it'll be really, really useful. Then you have Overload Script, similar to the card that gave all Mechanologist attacks go again. This gives all Mechanologist attacks overpower as long as it's in play. So basically for 1.5 turns, all your attacks will have overpower. If you can put Plasma Mainline to this, then all for 2.5 turns, everything will have overpower. Super, super good. Then finally, Symbiosis Shot. Not finally, but this might be the last comment. It's one of the last ones. This is Dash IO's new signature weapon, which we'll talk about here when we get to the Majestics. Action, remove a steam counter from this attack. So it works similar to the Tectoplasma Pistol. The difference is you don't have to pay 1 resource to load it as an action with Go Again. It says whenever a Mechanologist item enters the arena under your control, if it has fewer than 6 steam counters, you may put a steam counter on this. So as long as you have the steam counters and the action points, you can keep attacking with this. So this has really cool effects with high octane, right? If you don't attack with this for a couple turns, you just keep putting items into the arena, keep putting steam counters on this, and it gets like 5-6 steam counters. Then you play a high octane and boost a lot. You essentially can just keep attacking with this without having to pay resources to load it, which is really, really cool. So essentially that one resource, I treat it as that one resource you're paying to put the item in field is a load on your weapon. That's the way I look at it. And then Evo Whizbang, I think I accidentally put that one in. Yeah, I accidentally put these in for the common, so we can skip these real fast. But yeah, that is all the common level cards that we had. We have the rares. Rares here. The first one is Fuel Injector. At instant speed, put this on the bottom of its owner's deck and gain a resource. This is really, really interesting. Like, you gain a resource from a blue. I don't know how this works because, like, what is the purpose of playing this? Because you're going to have to pay 1 to play this off top of your deck, and you're going to have to use your action point to play it from your hand. So it's really, really interesting to see how this works. I don't know the use case of this. It's at rare, too. Someone in the comments below, let me know what the use case for this is. I truly don't know other than flavor, but I could be wrong. Next one is Medkit. Similar to, these might just be limited cards, to be honest. Action, put this on the bottom of its owner's deck, gain 2 resources. Being able to use your action point to gain 2 from a blue doesn't seem good to me, but I could be wrong. Although it is a cycle, so you can continually gain life from it. It's going to be interesting to see how much play this gets. This might just be a good limited card, right, to be able to stay alive over a course of turns. Next one is Penetration Script. This is another offensive-minded item. It does cost 1, so it'll cost 2 off the top of the deck from Dash IO. Enters with a steam counter and says your Mechanologist attack action cards get +1. So if you can put a steam counter on this from Plasma Mainline, basically for 2.5 turns, you'll get +1 all your attacks, which is pretty good if you can get it out consistently enough. Next one is Polarity Reversal Script. Enters with 1 counter and says action cards get -1 while defending your Mechanologist attack action cards. So a way to reduce your opponent's blocks against you in a highly aggro game plan. The 1 cost items are very interesting because it's going to be interesting to see how often you can actually get them out. But overall, it's a very powerful card nonetheless. Then we have Security Script. One of my favorite 1 costs. Enters the arena with a counter and says your Mechanologist attack action cards get +1 defense at blue. So you can use it for pitch. You basically pay 2 to get +1 to all your defensive options. You basically block 4 with all your action cards for a turn and a half. If you Plasma Mainline this, all of your action cards get block for 4 essentially, which is super good. And then if you put a couple of this like a Galvanize, that means they'll block for 5, which is just nuts. So really, really powerful card. I think this is like one of the better one cost items for Dash.io, but it would be interesting to see how people play it out. And then finally, Soup Up. If an item you control has been destroyed this turn, it gets go again. It's a 0 for 4 with Galvanize, so it can block for 4 potentially. So, right, you can, on defense, you can destroy an item to give us block 4. On offense, right, you can have, if an item runs out from not having Steam counters, then this is a 0 for 4 go again. So, pretty flexible card. Be interesting to see how much play it gets. And then Steam Canister, I thought it was the last one. Steam Canister is an instant. Put this on the bottom of its owner's deck. Put a Steam counter on an item you control with Crank. So I guess you play this out off the top of your deck with Dash.io for 1 resource, and then you're able to put a Steam counter on a more powerful item potentially. Basically, you're paying 1 to add a Steam counter to another item is the best way I look at it. But other than that, it's a pretty, casual card, I think. Then you have Torque Tuned. It's a 6 power 2 block for 2 resources. It says, if an item you control has been destroyed this turn, it gets overpower. This gets overpower, and it also has Galvanize. Really solid card. Is it better than cards like Payload or Throttle or things like that? Remains to be seen. But if you're destroying items pretty consistently, the block value could be very, very useful. And then that's all the rares. And then we have the Majestics. So for the Majestics, we have Dash.io. She was the first one, first Majestic on the list. Just like Max, she's in the Majestic slot. I'll stand by what I said the other time. It does feel a little bad that someone could potentially buy a $90 product and still not be able to play a hero. That feels really bad to me. But it is what it is. I know there's reasons for it and against it. It just feels a little bit bad, but that's just my opinion. Regardless, she's a Majestic slot, really fun, powerful hero. I'm doing a Dash deck tech, or at least initial deck concept tomorrow, so feel free to check that out. Really cool, fun, intriguing hero to be able to play off items. She starts at 36 life, which is really interesting. For a deck that's going to be running probably a lot of non-blocks, and when I say a lot, probably like anywhere from 10 to 18, I'm assuming. For her to run that many non-blocks, for her to have less life, I know she's a pseudo 5 intellect hero, but still, it's a little dicey, you know what I mean? Grinding Gears. I think this was a spoil by Mansant. This enters with a Steam counter. Action, pay nothing. Target hero destroys the top card of their deck. So this is really a funny card because you could essentially mill someone left for like 4 on a high octane turn. You play this, right? Off the top of your deck, right? And maybe on a high octane turn where you've boosted like 3 times, and then you just mill someone for the top 3 cards of their deck, which is really funny. It's going to be interesting to see if someone can like find an interaction where they just load up on a bunch of action points. That'll be really, really funny. Someone, I think, brought up mixing this with another card that I think we're going to talk about, or a card that we already have talked about, where it basically says like bring something back into the arena. I'd have to go back and find it, but there's it's System Reset. So System Reset says banish X mechanologist items you control with cost 0 or 1, then return them to the arena under their owner's control. So if this is about to pop, you just banish it and put it back into the arena, and then be able to continue to mill people out. It'd be really interesting if someone can figure out a way to do that and like have this like mill strategy with Dash.io. That'd be really funny. Next one's Prismatic Lens. Cost 1 to play. Enters with a Steam counter. Once per turn instant. Pay nothing. Reveal the top card of your deck. Put a Mechanologist item with the same color of your banished zone on top of your deck. Put a Mechanologist item of the same color from your banished zone on top of your deck. So you reveal it. If it's a red, you can put an item with the same color red from the banished zone on top of your deck. So this is a good way to maybe cycle in boom grenades back into your deck, or a key item that you want from a key color. Be really interesting to see people be able to do this. And you could do it as many times as you wanted, technically, right? So if you have 3 red boom grenades and a red on top, you just keep doing this at instant speed, which is pretty crazy, honestly. I don't know why you would do that to have 3 in a row, but you could. Really interesting card. Then you have Quantum Processor, 1 cost crank item. A Majestic enters with a Steam counter that says, once per turn instant, pay nothing. Put a Mechanologist item with cost 0 or 1 from your hand to the arena. This is really good. You put this out early, and over 1 to 2 turns, it allows you to just play anything you draw to the arena by paying nothing, which is super nice. It has some really good synergy with being able to get items out quickly, right? So if you could find this early, it'd be really good, really beneficial. They do have Stasis Cell. When this enters or leaves the arena, activated abilities and target equipment cannot be activated until the end of its controller's turn. Now, keep in mind that Wizards can respond to that, can respond to this coming into the field and leaving the field as well, but it forces their hand a little bit. It has an action that says, put this on the bottom of its owner's deck, choose an equipment. It can't defend this turn, which is a good way to close out games. Really interesting item itself. I see this being used against Wizard a little bit, maybe, to prevent them from popping their equipment 2 turns. But even then, they can respond to it. But at least it will kind of force the issue a little bit. Excuse me. Steel Street Hoons. Steel Street Hoons? That's such an interesting. It's a boost card, 3/3 boost. It says, if an item you control has been destroyed this turn, it gets +2. So it's a 3/5 boost at blue if an item's been destroyed. It also has Galvanize. So items destroying consistently, you're rewarded by getting higher block value, higher attack value, so on and so forth. And then we have System Reset. I hadn't done this card yet. So this has the interaction with the Grinding the Gears card that says banish X Mechanologist items you control with cost 0/1, then return them to the arena under the owner's control. So like if you play Grinding Gears a turn before, and then you draw up, start your next turn, take the Steam counter off Grinding Gears, so it's going to pop next turn, you can use all the action points you have, right, maybe to play us out instant speed, then banish Grinding Gears, put it back into the arena under your control, put the Steam counter back on, and then be able to continually maybe next turn stack up action points and do it. It's a really funny, like, unlikely line, but it's really cool nonetheless. Then we have Twin Drive. I love this card for Max. It's a 2/5 boost, except it boosts twice. This does not gain you an action point. Consecutive go again doesn't gain action points, so keep that in mind. What this does do, though, is it allows you to turn on Max V a lot easier. If you have Max V in Arsenal, or if you have Max V in hand, if you have this Max V and a 0-cost boost in hand with 2 Hyperdrivers, you're able to play everything. You're in a blue, maybe you're able to play most everything right off a 4-card hand because you play the 0-cost, boost it, counts as 1 boost, gain 2 resources from your Hyperdrivers, play this without pitching anything. It technically boosts twice, so Max V sees 3 boosts, and then you're able to play Max V out without actually having boosted 3 separate cards. So really good synergy in Max's kit. This also could have synergy in Teklavossen's kit as well because you're able to banish away your Evos quicker so you can play them at instant speed. So I think it has pretty good use case all around. And that's all the Majestics. So hopefully this was a good wrap-up. I didn't want it to be too long. I breezed through it a little bit so you're not sitting here for like 2 hours. I definitely will do a stream kind of talking more in depth about some of the cards and get y'all's thoughts on. Be really excited for that. But yeah, let me know what you want to see. I'm going to be doing my initial deck concepts for each hero, talking about key cards I like in the set, doing tier lists from like the Evos and, meta tier lists, fun stuff like that. But let me know what else content you'd like to see, and I'd love to be able to produce it for you as Bright Lights continues. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy this. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If not me, it's totally fine. Go to our Flesh About Career, leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. And I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank y'all so much. Have a nice day.